So the Lions Club is supporting our soccer team. That is so awesome. I'm so
I haven't
happy.
been after this soccer.
Well,
But
consider
I sponsor my granddaughter's soccer team.
AYSF.
Is this a social gathering or?
No,
are we
I
having a
refuse.
meeting?
Start the
We're
pledge.
gonna try to Skype Phyllis.
This isn't any idea. She hates to sit
This
down.
is me being a rebel, okay?
Anyhow,
I have to sit down for 5 seconds to call the meeting to order, to stand back up to say the pledge.
There you go.
Here you go. Annie, here you go.
Water.
please.
No, thank you. No, sir.
No.
Oh, that'd be
She's
great.
not much taller than you
You want
are.
water?
She's the goalie.
Anytime you want the gravel, come.
No,
yeah, we'll
no,
grab it.
that's
Gravel,
all
too.
you, Mayor. That's all you.
You can
Oh,
gravel for it.
Anyhow, she plays out of Utah.
Oh, okay.
And she's got a couple scouts looking at her for college
Nice.
next year.
Hi, Phyllis.
No, I don't think she's.
Well, at least it's a good freeze frame.
Slack, let's go.
We have more people here than most meetings. Hi, everyone. Hi.
You there, Phyllis?
Do we have Phyllis on board?
There she is.
Hi.
Phyllis?
Can you hear us? She's confused now because we just told her we weren't Skyping with her. Okay, we can't hear her. Who called her? Huh? Did you just call her? Yeah, I thought you told me to Skype her because of her email.
Okay.
Can you hear
Communications is falling down, town manager.
No,
We need.
I gotta go find out why we can't hear her.
us? Sure, the one day I decide to stand.
You're a troublemaker, you know?
Not your fault.
Lane, you're a troublemaker.
I am.
I hope
That's
so.
why Jack and I are on opposite ends.
Yeah, I couldn't take it to both of you together.
I know, it'd be a force.
Come sit down here, Diane.
Yeah.
No, I'm okay over here. Corey keeps me in line.
I'll take you over the line.
I know.
There is no stop.
I one time had control of this group, but it disappeared quickly, didn't it? Maybe I never had control.
I think it's after a week-long retreat or a valley
Yeah.
with more mosquitoes than
Yeah.
should be allowed.
Can you hear us, Phyllis? I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Can she type her responses?
Can't you call in?
Call in, did. Is Lon on the
That
phone?
might be on her end then. Oh, she's calling.
We're gonna start. We've got 2 minutes. If we can't bring her up, then we'll forget about it.
Is Lon on the line?
Yes, Lon, you still there?
I am. Can you hear me okay using the speaker?
We missed you in Tucson.
Do we need him to be louder?
No, he's fine.
He's fine, yeah.
No, he's stuck in a hole down in Baghdad. Oh, gee.
How's the mine doing, Lon?
He hates us.
Hello, what was that?
Are you down in the mine, or are you just down there?
Oh, I'm still down on my job site.
Okay.
You need to try to call Phyllis back?
No.
No, I didn't know you were gonna call her.
Let's stop. Let's stop right there. We're done. You call her and tell her that we're done. We'll go ahead. We've got some problem. Then we'll have to fix it before the next meeting. Okay?
So we ready to go?
Maybe on her
Yeah.
end too.
Okay.
Could be, but we'll fix it before the next meeting. Call the meeting to order. Can we have roll call?
I'll not touch first.
Pardon?
All right.
Well, that's not on the agenda.
All right, looks like
Neither
You're
was prayer.
standing for
Councilmember Kelly is absent. Councilmember Miller,
Here.
Councilmember Lane,
Here.
Councilmember Mendoza,
Here.
Vice Mayor Best,
Here.
and Mayor Croft, and Councilmember Turner over there.
Okay.
Okay.
This is a special meeting Tuesday, August 29th, 2017 at 6 p.m. in the town council chambers. The first agenda item is two parts. A public hearing regarding the application for the SIMC EDP for a new Series 12 restaurant liquor license for Aroma Pizza LLC located at 850 South Highway 89, Chino Valley.
You
Yes.
skip one.
Oh, the chamber wants to make a presentation? And I don't have that on my agenda.
Yeah, number 2.
I know, but I don't have that on my agenda.
It's on mine.
It's on yours. Okay. Let me step back. Now that I've got the real agenda, I guess. Call to order. A presentation by Arlene Allen, Chino Valley Area Chamber of Commerce President, CEO, regarding the Community Volunteer Program, CVP, and introduction of Sarah Haber, AmeriCorps Visa CVP Direct Coordinator. Cecilia, Town Manager, would you introduce?
Mayor and Council, we have Arlene Allen here. She's going to introduce her community volunteer program, go over a little bit about what they are going to be doing with the new personnel that she has on board.
Good evening, and thank you, Mayor and Council. I just want to briefly talk to you about it. I know a lot of you heard this during our joint council and board meeting a couple of months back. We were talking about getting this project done and getting it off the ground. And I conceived the project several years ago in looking around the community and all of our quad cities and looking at, I do a lot of workshops and presentations on volunteerism and how to recruit and train and retain them. And it was a problem. It was a problem for all of our nonprofits and all of our service clubs. We were going to the same volunteer pool, and volunteers who had retired were retiring from retirement and retiring from volunteerism. And there was a challenge. There was a missing generation. And I looked around and, you know, those volunteers of the past, bless their hearts, aren't here anymore. And the new volunteers want something different. They want to have short terms of volunteerism. They don't want to go to committee meetings for months at a time. They don't want to, they want to come in and work for 3 or 4 hours and leave. And even some of our volunteers who are aging out of volunteer programs are wanting the same thing. They want something that's task-oriented. They want something with an end. They want something with a win. And that's hard to do. Our service clubs and our nonprofits are based on a different model. They're based on that model where there's an endless stream of volunteers who can serve on their committees and who can fulfill all of their missions. And they spend days and days and hundreds and thousands of dollars on trying to get volunteers, on having volunteer orientations, about putting the word out that they need people, about trying to get 30 people for a Saturday to work an event. And it is a difficult thing for them, and they lose focus. So we put together the community volunteer program with the eye that we could take a web-based, cloud-based, database system, and using high touch and using that technology along with people in the mix, we can fill that need and allow our nonprofits to focus on what they do best. So we were very fortunate that we got a little teeny grant, and we managed to get AmeriCorps this year to say, yes, we need this in the community, not just in Chino Valley and not just in our region, but in other communities. I took this public for the first time at the Arizona Rural Policy Forum a couple of weeks ago. I spoke there, and the reaction to this was overwhelmingly positive. There were a lot of heads doing this. I took this to an NAU nonprofit task force meeting last week, and NAU stepped up without asking and said, we want to be part of your beta program. So the reaction to this has been outstanding. We are looking to be in beta test within about 6 months. I'm giving a workshop on this program, an hour-and-a-half workshop at the Governor's Summit on Volunteerism and Community Engagement, and that's at ASU in Glendale, November 2nd and 3rd. And it's going to be interesting to see what the feedback is from there. But for right now, we are really, and this program is designed to be a revenue stream. It's designed ultimately to be self-sustaining. And we've actually now started working on this project. So I brought our partner in crime here today, Sarah, our AmeriCorps, to introduce her to you and let you know that she is going to be calling on the service clubs and the nonprofits in the area and taking this on the road, because we need your help in the beta program. We need you to provide us with some information to help us design the web forms that we need to do. And so when you get a call and an email from Sarah, I hope that you'll answer it and that you'll participate in the program. There, of course, is no cost to you. And at the end of the day, the goal of this program is not to create a program. The goal of this program is to free up our nonprofits, to free up our service clubs, to be able to focus their time and funding on their mission and let us fulfill the needs they have for day of event volunteers and ancillary volunteers. And so if there are questions, I would take them at this time. Mayor?
Hearing none.
Hearing none, I would take, it is my pleasure to introduce you to the AmeriCorps Vista, who is serving Chino Valley and the Chamber this year, Miss Sarah Haber. Sarah, come down and introduce yourself.
Thank you. So I'm here to introduce myself. So hello, everyone. My name is Sarah Haber, and as Arlene stated, I am the AmeriCorps Vista serving in Chino Valley. I am 22 years old, and I just graduated from the State University of New York at Oswego, and I just moved from New York to Prescott about 3 weeks ago. I will be serving with the Chino Valley Area Chamber of Commerce for the next year as the Community Volunteer Program Coordinator. I studied public relations and computer science at school, so I'm really, really excited to be a part of this program. I've really been enjoying my time here so far, and I've been able to see some really incredible places in the area. I look forward to working and making a difference here in this community. So thank you so much for welcoming me here today, and I expect that this will be a very rewarding year.
Thank you.
My new best friend.
And we expect to
Thank
see
you.
you again often. Thank you very much. Thank you, Arlene. Now we get back to item 3. There's 2 parts. A public hearing regarding the application for a new Series 12 liquor license for Aroma Pizza LLC located 850 South Highway 89, Chino Valley. The second part will go after the public hearing. We'll ask for consideration of possible action to recommend approval for our new Series 12 liquor license for Aroma Pizza LLC. So I'd like a motion to go into a public hearing.
I make a motion to hold a public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we're in a public hearing. Is there any comment from anyone in the audience? Hearing none? I'd like to have
I
a
make a motion to
close.
close public hearing.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Nay? Nay? None. Okay, let's move on to the second part. Consideration of possible action to recommend approval for a new Series 12 liquor license for Aroma Pizza LLC.
I make a motion to recommend approval of the new Series 12 liquor license for Aroma Pizza.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Uh-oh. There's trouble. Okay. Number 4, consideration of possible action to award the bid for the community center flooring to KT Interiors Incorporated in the amount of $24,883.50. Mr. Duffy.
Mayor and Council, thank you this evening. We, as you know, we're remodeling the flooring at the community center, and our original quotes came in. Original bids that we got were around $30,000. So we realized anything over $25,000, we have to go out to a formal bid, which we did. And I did a little bid tab in your packet, I believe on page 12. And with the bids, what we did is we asked each vendor to propose as many bids for different products as they would like. So each bidder basically bid 2, one of them even bid 4 different products for us to look at. Our goal was to get a bulletproof vinyl flooring that would take years of abuse. So with that, Kenny AAA and our rec staff did review the products. They looked at each physical one, and they are recommending tonight that we award the bid to KT Interiors for a 20 mil floor that has a 15-year warranty. It's not the low bid, but the quality they believe will last and give us that 15 plus years worth of good service. So if you have any particular questions about it, Kenny is here.
I see head nods back and
Yeah.
back.
And so, and it's well within the amount that we budgeted for the flooring too.
Councilman Lane, do you have a question?
No, just a statement. I noticed that it was the higher of the bid, but I also noticed that it was the 5 years extended warranty on it, so
Yeah.
I get a thumbs up.
Councilmember Mendoza?
Since it did come under the 25, you actually don't even need to be here.
Well, since we did the process, we need to formalize and officially award.
Thank you.
Yes.
Appreciate that.
Anybody else? Vice Mayor?
Okay.
No, sir, thank you very much.
Wow.
I'd make a motion to recommend an award to KT Interiors Incorporated, the contract for the community center flooring in amount of $24,883.50.
Is there a second?
So I'll second it.
I have 2 seconds. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Wait for Lon.
Hey, Lon, what'd you say?
He said yes.
Aye.
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 He hasn't said nays so far. So.
Nobody.
Okay, number 5, overview of budgeted recreation of events and parks maintenance expenses for current fiscal year. And Mr. Bruner, would you come up, please? And tell us about what your budget's about in recreation.
Sure, Mayor and Council, first off, Scott, I just want to say, we put this on the council agenda in response to demands that we keep getting for different recreational programs after we've kind of already set our budget, so he'll walk through some of that with us.
Do we have a PowerPoint?
There they are, champs.
How could we say no?
Yes, yes. Greetings, Mayor and Council. We are here tonight at the request of the mayor. We'll be going over our Parks and Recreation budgets and events for you and update and clarify the Parks and Recreation Department responsibilities, specifically recreation and events. Since Community Services Department has been reintroduced by Town Manager Gritman, we staff members are fairly new to our positions. So it's a good opportunity to reintroduce ourselves with Mayor and Council and give an update in the direction we're going. And so I just want to do that. So let's start with some of the reintroductions. First, behind me, a homespun Chino Valley graduate. Let me introduce your recreation coordinator, Haley, the pool queen, Bird. Stand up and wave to your fans. Bird, everybody. Next up, we have another homespun Chino Valley graduate, known as Chino Valley's graphic arts champion, which you will be enjoying her visual efforts this evening. Your recreation lead, Celia Vandermolen. Wave to your fans. Vandermolen, everybody. Last but not least, serving and working for your town for well over a decade and keeping the community services train on track. Please welcome my colleague and associate community services director, Cindy, the engineer, Thomas. Stand up and wave to your fans. Thomas, everybody. You just did.
We are out of control.
I gotta hey, it's recreation. We
I
gotta
love
have
it.
a little fun
I love
with
it.
Right?
Come to our
As-
soccer game.
As for myself, I'm the coal boy. I'm the coal boy for the train that Cindy's driving, so. But the train can't run without me feeding it fuel. That, Mayor, Council, ladies and gentlemen, is your recreational services team. Give them a hand. Come on. You give yourself a hand. Okay, we're ready? Down to business. Go, if you could turn to the next page, please. Thank you. I want to start with the parks and just give you an idea of what our inventory is, okay, with our guys of what we're doing. Memory Park, 15 acres. That's the North Campus as well, including the library. Allen's Park. The South Campus, Town Hall, 4.85 acres. Community Center Park, 37 acres. Center Street Park, we have another name for it. 2.17 acres, Peavine Trail. Although it's not a lot of maintenance, it soon will be. We're working on that. 3 miles, Appaloosa Park Meadows, 5.38, and Old Home Manor at 40 acres. So what you have is 100, you can go ahead and turn the page, please. 130 plus acres maintained by the Town Parks Department. We have 2 full-time employees and 2 seasonal. They have a budget of $40,000. Next up, if you could please, our Recreation Department. We have 12 annual events. Interesting that we have 12 months of the year on that. Aquatics facility rentals, youth programs. The rentals are like for the pool, senior center, soon the community center. Baseball fields, of course, for the sports programs. Our 2 recreational full-time coordinators are right here, but look at their budget, $15,000 for 12 events throughout the year.
Wow.
Thank you. Real quickly, you can see here, I'm going to go through these individually quickly, but you can see throughout the year, Polar Plunge, Valentine's Day, events planning, Easter, Grinder, Wade Parker Memorial Tournament, 4th of July, Chino Mutter, Territorial Days, and not on there yet, Drool in the Pool, which is coming. Halloween, event planning again, and of course the Christmas, please. All right, in January, we're going to introduce, with the Aquatic Center, we're going to try bringing back that Polar Plunge, and we'll kind of use it as a fundraising event. And roughly, these figures that we give you, give or take, are just a generalization, pretty close, because we're going through what we spent in years before, and we're kind of guesstimating on these new events, roughly give or take $500. Cindy's event here, the ice cream social and dance at the senior center. I think that's a great one. Got that Valentine's theme to it, give or take 500. We'll move on to March. We have the preparation for the planning for really the summer, and it takes a lot of planning because we're just packed one event after the other, and so we get we think a break, but not really. April, we have the Easter, and that was very well attended. There's between 2,500, 3,000 people that come out that event. And I got to give a shout out to Word of Life Church. They do a great job in helping to assist us. Again, give or take $500. May, we had the Chino Grinder, and of course that's sponsored by the Arizona Gravel Rides. But we are we are involved with it with Parks and Recreation. And again, to put that event on, roughly, give or take $500. Wade Parker Memorial Baseball Tournament, Community Center Park, Recreation and Parks, Wade Parker Foundation, we're involved in helping with that, and again, give or take $500. 4th of July celebration, it's a big one. That's a big one, and I tell you, that's one of our bigger events, and you've got $10,300 in fireworks and $5,000 in entertainment, and I believe we would like to bump that up and make it a little better. But we'll see how that one goes. But that is a big event. And keep in mind, as I'm rattling all these off, we've got to have all the staff. You got 2 parks guys and you got 2 recreation people, and then Cindy and myself. So it's a lot of responsibility. Granted, we do have our volunteers, and they help get us through. August, you got the Mutter. And we just finished with that last week, and the figure here, then that was very well received. And I will come back at the end of this presentation and briefly touch on that Chino Mutter. I'm not so sure this $300, $500, I think now that we have the infrastructure in, I think that will come down quite a bit. Now, now that we have that all in there. So, but we had to put a figure down, and we just kind of guesstimated on that one. September, the territorial days, which is next week, this week, coming, Friday, starting Friday, and I'll touch back on that with the Drool in the Pool, our pool queen. of course, that's put on with the help of the Chamber of Commerce and the Lions Club. Cost of that event, $8,500. October, we've got our Halloween, roughly $3,500. That's another semi-big one. November, we get a little chance to take a break from the summer and prepare a little bit. We'll move on to December, and there we have the Chamber's Chino Family Lighting Christmas and the Chino Valley Tree Decorating and Lighting in Memory Park. Roughly that cost is roughly, give or take, $500. But we've been working on a partnership with the Chamber, been meeting with them, and we will be meeting with them on a regular quarterly basis, and to try to bring together our participation in events together. We don't want to really duplicate what the other is doing. If there's something that's somewhat similar, and we can kind of bridge those events, that's what we want to do. There was a suggestion to light the Memory Park trees. We thought it was a good idea, and we talked to the Chamber to make sure that there wasn't a conflict of interest. And after talking it over, we decided there would be, because they're too similar. It was suggested that even though that they have the trees at the Del Rio Elementary, our tree decorating, we just felt that there might be some confusion, and then we light the tree. It was suggested that if you have two similar events, the public will only go to one, and we agree with that. It was suggested, though, that we could set up a booth at Del Rio, and we could have all the supplies there to help decorate ornaments, and then they could take them on over to Memory Park and help decorate our tree. So we're trying to work together with the Chamber of Commerce on some of these events and bring them together. So next one. And so we do have some additions. We have the kickoff to Territorial Games, to Territorial Days football. That's the Friday. That's Cindy's idea there. Pretty good idea on to bring in the school and kind of partner with them a little bit. Of course, we have our carnival and a band. I don't believe we had that at the Territorial Days. And, of course, food and vendors. It was suggested that we make a full weekend. How about maybe, possibly, just some ideas, a three-day softball tournament, riding lawnmower races.
Yes.
Now, when I first got back here 18 years ago, they actually had people go down in front of Memory Park and race their lawnmowers. Does anyone know what they got for prizes? Do we know? No? They just did it.
It was just fun.
Yeah, and so we kind of want to bring that old idea back and see what happens. Street dance, of course, remember, we are the most redneck community in Arizona, which we're proud of, and why not? Riding lawnmower races. Street dance, you know, here's another one here. Close the pool on Labor Day weekend. It's kind of a tough thing to do because kids go back to school, and they really kind of help operate that. And, of course, the drool in the pool. We want to take that as a fundraiser where you take that and you can bring your dog to the pool and they can jump in and swim around in the pool and for a minimal fee, and we can take that money and we can do some dog park improvements. Donna will appreciate that. And some funding for the animal shelter. So I really like the drool in the pool one. I think that's a neat one to kind of introduce. Next. Other, with the aquatics, important dates. In April, we put in a lot of time for pool preparation, getting that pool ready, startup, staff interviews. Haley, do you know how many people we hired at the pool this year?
I think 30.
30? So those, and I'll call them kids because they're mainly the high school, you know, they got to go through interviews and they got to go training and they, you know, got to get prepared and that's a little bit of the difficulty closing. When they go back to school, basically the pool has to close. And in May, we kind of have we have private rentals from school before the pool opens, and that's kind of a good time for the, it's kind of a soft introduction for that new staff. They can kind of get acquainted and you know, kind of get a feel before it officially opens and doing their jobs. And of course, opening day, Memorial Day weekend. Possible changes in 2018, longer open swim time sessions, and we'll try. I don't know if we can do it, but a longer season. Open till Labor Day weekend, possibly. That would be nice to end that way. So those are some of the things we're kind of shooting for. Next. I wanted to come back to this mutter, which was last Saturday. We put in a new water line, a lot of work. And the Public Works Department deserves a lot of credit. A big thank you. The Lions Club, Turner Pump, thank you. We needed that pump. Embry-Riddle students, ROTC volunteers, the PRAB members, cannot thank them enough. Hundreds of hours the PRAB worked on this, so a big thank you to them. Our sponsors, our Parks and Recreation people scrambling to get that job done and get it ready. IT, Matt Santos with the marketing, Cecilia with the marketing. We had almost 300 participants. We never thought we'd come close to that. We would be excited if we had 100. And we raised, through the registration fees, $8,500 in revenue. So that's a kind of a good start there on that one. Next, please. So, in summary, your budget for recreational programs is at $15,000. Isn't that interesting? $15,000, all these events, that's a lot of bang for the funding that we do through the recreation department. We do have the fireworks, as you know, $10,300, and we have that $8,000 for territorial days. Our proposed budget next year, I really would like to move that $15,000 up a little bit more, and that's something we'll talk about when we get around to the next budget cycle. $10,300 in fireworks, $8,500 in territorial days. We want to keep that. So the band that we're going to be introducing and all the other things, the carnival kind of atmosphere, we want to try to keep that. And so we want to keep that, and that is our founding day. That's territorial days. So really, that total would come up to $33,800. So that is our current update, and is there any questions from Mayor and Council?
I'm good. You did
Okay.
a great job.
Thank you.
Gordon?
Thanks again.
Lane?
Annie, anything? No, I
Annie?
do though, Scott.
Pardon?
It's not that easy. Come on back. Old Home Manor, 40 acres.
Yeah.
What do you really maintain at Old Home Manor?
The baseball fields, that mutter field, and we do have to, there is a dog show, but it hasn't been out there in a while, I believe. Didn't come out through this year. That area has to be mowed and knocked down, and for the events, let's say that mutter, okay? Let's just use that. All that area had to be mowed down, and
So between the mutter area and the ball field, that's a 40-acre that you maintain there?
we don't cut the whole 40 acres down, if that's what you're asking,
Okay.
of course.
'Cause a lot of that is.
But you know what? You got to throw out a nice statistic like that, because
Well,
40 acres
that-
is 40 acres.
Councilmember, they also maintain, the Parks Department does around the wastewater treatment plant and any other town facilities that are out at Old Home Manor.
Right, all through the, and the equestrian center, I believe, and some of those others. But granted, there are fields out there that, because it's just, we're gonna be developing that soon within the town, you know,
Okay.
through other means.
Okay.
So, any other
Um,
questions?
There is, as we come up for budget every year, we definitely look at quality of life issues. And you represent a lot of the quality of life of Chino Valley with your department.
Thank you.
We realize that for the most part, this is something that you don't make money. I don't know exactly where your $8,500 of your mutter profits go to, Is that just then put into the?
It's not profit, that's just the revenue that came in, that's not profit.
Right.
Okay.
And it
Probably
goes,
wrong term.
and it
Yeah.
goes into the general fund, basically. Comes back into the town as a general fund.
Accurate?
Mm-hmm, yes.
Okay. I know since we had Arlene here as well tonight, I would like to see that this community get as much bang for their buck
Mhm.
as
They
we
are.
can, because we, as a council, we take quality of life money,
Mhm.
and we want to see that go as far as possible. We also help sponsor the Chamber of Commerce to, a bit. We have lots of volunteer programs, and I hear from every organization, everybody is short on volunteers. And then it's really nice to have Sarah here, because as the, your title is the?
AmeriCorps Vista.
Community Volunteer Program Coordinator. So it sounds like we have a great asset here to possibly start maybe bringing,
We are meeting with the chamber, Arlene, is that not true, on a quarterly basis?
We have decided to do that, and we are really looking at avenues that we can work together and bring our events together and really produce some quantifiable quality of life.
So we've
Would-
already met with the chamber, and we
Okay.
set up a quarterly meeting with
as far
them.
as Lions, Rotaries,
Mhm. Yeah,
can we kind of, let's involve everybody.
you betcha.
Because I do see on some of these events, you have an event for the business people, you have an event for the kids. The more we can combine, I think we might get a little bit more bang for our buck when everybody's on the same page.
Absolutely,
As much as possible.
absolutely.
So, that was it. Thank you.
Anything else? You bet.
Anyone else?
Support soccer.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, that's a great
Thank you.
presentation. Thank you.
It really is.
A lot of things going on in recreation, and we don't hear much about it, and what it costs, and how many volunteers we have. And I wanted that to come up so we'd get an idea of what you guys do for the very little amount of money that we spend. So we need to do a good budget this year. Thank you very much for what you guys do. Okay, let's go on to 6, consideration possible action to approve resolution number 17112, authorizing the acquisition of right-of-way for roadway and public utility easement purposes along East Road 2 North, east of Road North 1 East to Pepper Tree Place from East Road 2 North South to Juniper Drive from Pepper Tree Place West to North Road 1 East. Town Manager, would you tell us what?
Sure.
You don't have to repeat that.
Okay, it's my understanding that through previous processes, we had asked for the right-of-way, it never got recorded, and in order to get it recorded, it has to be okayed by the council, you have to accept it, and then we move forward from there.
So this is just bringing our records up?
It's sort of housekeeping, yeah.
Housekeeping, okay. Anybody else have any comments? No one? Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion. I recommend the approval of resolution number 171112, authorizing the acquisition of a right-of-way for road and public utility easements purposes from Bonnie Plants Incorporated on portions of East Road 2 North, Pepper Tree Lane, and Juniper Drive.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
Mine was easier to say than yours.
Yeah. And I heard the radio. With the phone. Okay, let's go on to number 7, consideration possible action to appoint applicants to the Board of Adjustment and Planning and Zoning Commission. Ms. Lewis?
All right.
let's see, a couple of months ago, the appointment subcommittee had a meeting to look at the various openings that we had on several of our public bodies. And we did have some openings on Board of Adjustment, but we didn't get any applications. So they asked us to contact some of the applicants for the other positions that didn't get appointed. So we contacted several people, and we did end up finding that Gwen Rowich was willing to step down from Planning and Zoning Commission alternate, as the appointment subcommittee was interested in seeing if Wells Geary wanted to do that, and Ms. Rowich had expressed an interest in stepping down. And so he was amenable to that, and he and Marcus Walker were amenable to serving on the Board of Adjustment. And that brings that up to, I believe, full strength without an alternate.
Okay.
So that's what the recommendation is.
Everything. Questions?
Could you say those names one more time, please?
So,
The-
I'm sorry, go ahead. You were speaking?
I was. Could you read those names again, please?
Gwen Rowich is stepping down
Okay.
from Planning and Zoning Commission. And then we're going to appoint Wells Geary to the alternate position on P&Z. And then Wells Geary also along with Marcus Walker to the Board of Adjustment.
Thank you.
My question is, you can have the same person on planning and zoning and Board of Adjustments?
Yeah, we looked in.
Isn't that a conflict if he said no is planning and zoning?
Typically, Planning and Zoning and Board of Adjustment almost never hears the same cases, because Board of Adjustment's very specific as to what kinds of cases it hears. So what the town attorney opined to us is that if something had to come before both, he would have to choose which one he wanted to participate in and then recuse himself for the other. But in all the years I've been here, I've never seen the same thing go before both boards. Because the Board of Adjustment only hears variances and appeals from zoning administrator decisions, and Planning and Zoning doesn't deal with either of those.
Okay,
Typically.
and our attorney looked into that, so we're
Mhm.
good. Thank you.
Yes, she did.
Vice Mayor, question?
No, sir. Thank you very much.
I make a recommendation to accept the resignation of Gwen Roselwich, pardon me for mispronouncing your name, as Planning and Zoning Commissioner alternate, appointing Wells Geary as Planning and Zoning Commissioner alternate to term end to January 31st, 2018, and to appoint Wells Geary and Marcus Walker to the Board of Adjustments, term ending July 31st of 2019 and July 31st of 2018 respectfully.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Nay.
Motion carries.
I'm just kidding. Sorry.
He had to do it, didn't he?
He would.
I
Before
believe
the
you need
meeting
to
was over.
make another motion.
Well, I'm not even gonna let you do it. Ms. Lane, would you please talk about motion for adjournment?
We're on number 8.
I would like to make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Is there a second?
Second it?
All in favor say aye.
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 Are you
Nay.
Are you upset, Jeff? I hope so.
Although I am quite disappointed we didn't say the pledge today. It's my favorite part of every meeting.
Thank you very much.
Pardon me? I know, I was standing, like, I was making my stand. I'm gonna stand.